You're listening to Holy Sync Radio Podcast. Today's podcast, Not Backing Down.
Let me start small, because I think this whole thing lives in the small stuff. There's a kind of quiet that isn't peace. It's the quiet in your throat when you know you should speak up and you just don't. It's the I'm good you say when you're absolutely not good. It's the way you make yourself a little smaller in a room so nobody looks too close. From the outside, it reads as calm, like you've got it handled. But a lot of the time, that quiet isn't peace at all. It's fear. It's just fear wearing a nicer outfit. And that's what I want to get into today. Because most of us are way more scared than we'd ever admit. We've just gotten good at hiding it, even from ourselves.
Okay, welcome everybody to Holy Sync Radio Podcast. I'm Nilsa, that's Thomas, and that quiet that isn't peace thing already got me, because I don't think I would have ever called that fear. To me, that's just keeping the peace, being easygoing. So where's the fear actually hiding in that?
That's the whole trick. We don't call it fear, so we never deal with it. Because when you hear fear, you picture something dramatic, a horror movie, somebody chasing you. But that's not the fear that runs your day. The fear that runs your life is quiet and sneaky, and it wears little disguises. Picture it. You're in a group. Everybody's laughing at something, and it's not even funny. It's kind of mean, and you feel that pull that goes, this isn't right, but you laugh anyway, just enough to blend in. That's fear. It just didn't announce itself. It walked in dressed as being chill, as I don't want to make it weird. It never called itself fear, so you just let it drive.
See? And that's what messes me up, because that feels like being relaxed, not being scared. I've literally sat in a conversation agreeing with somebody out loud while every part of me is screaming, that is not what I think. And afterward, I don't go, wow, I was scared. I go, it wasn't worth the argument. So I never even catch it. It just files itself under keeping things smooth.
And that's exactly it. The disguise is so good that we think we're being easygoing when we're just scared. I say this as somebody who lived there for years. I was the king of shrinking, agreeing with stuff I didn't agree with, laughing at things I didn't think were funny, keeping every real opinion just under the surface where it felt safe. And the lie under all of it is that shrinking keeps you safe. But look at what it costs. Every time you shrink, you lose a little piece of what you believe, a little piece of who you are, and you do it so slowly you never feel it. You just wake up one day not sure what you even stand for anymore.
So it's not even really safety. It just feels like it right in the moment. It's like you're trading who you actually are for not being awkward for 10 seconds, and you don't notice the price until way down the line.
That's it. It's just a slower way of losing. You stretch it out over years so it doesn't sting all at once. It's comfortable enough that you never fight your way out. You disappear an inch at a time and call it keeping the peace.
Man, that reframed my whole week. So where does the song come in? Because this is all tied to not backing down, right?
It is, and it's tied to Psalm 27, which might be the most honest thing in the whole Bible about this. Because Psalm 27 is written by David, and he's not writing it from some comfortable place. He is surrounded. Real danger, enemies closing in, the kind of moment where being afraid would make total sense. And right in the middle of it, he writes, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" That's bold. But here's the part that took me years to catch, and it's the most important. He never says the threat went away. The enemies didn't leave. A few verses later, he literally says, "Even if an army surrounds me, my heart will not be afraid." The army's still there. He can see it. Nothing about his actual situation changed.
So then what changed? If the scary thing is still sitting right there in front of him.
The question changed. That's the whole move. He stopped asking, how do I make this disappear? Because he couldn't, and usually neither can we, and started asking, who's actually here with me? Once God is really his light, really the ground under his feet, the math is completely different. Now the question isn't how big is the threat, it's who's left that's big enough to make me shrink. And that's so much more real than just don't be afraid, which is useless. You can't flip a switch on fear. This is different. You feel every ounce of it. Your heart's pounding, and you still don't back down. Not because the fear's gone, because you finally get that you're not standing there alone.
That's the reframe for me. It's not I'm brave because nothing's scary. It's I'm not moving because I'm not alone. Okay, can I throw one more kind of fear at you? Because this one's personal for me. Labels. Somebody decides who you are, usually in one bad moment, and it just sticks to you. You're the flaky one. You're the one who always quits. And after a while, you kind of start becoming it. Why does that happen?
Because that's the second thing fear does, and it might be the sneakiest. Fear doesn't just make you shrink, it hands you a name. And the wild part is you start wearing it even when you hate it, even when it's not true. Why would anyone act like a label they can't stand? Because being what people already expect is easier than fighting for something new. If everybody's decided you're the flaky one, then flaking costs you nothing. You're just being who you are. But the second you try to change, you've got something on the line. People might doubt you, or you might try your hardest and fall short in front of everyone. So the label becomes a cage, but a comfortable one. You've decorated it, you've made it cozy. And most people would rather stay in a cozy cage than walk through the open door because the open door is where you could actually get hurt.
Man, that cage thing is so real. It actually makes me think of my sister. I remember watching her struggle with labels people had put on her. After hearing the same things over and over, it was almost like she started believing them herself. That's what labels do. They don't just change how other people see you, they start changing how you see yourself. So, how do you get out of a cage you've lived in for so long? What did David do with his?
He didn't argue with it. That's what gets me. He didn't waste energy going, "No, I'm not. That's not who I am." He held onto a louder voice. He says, "I remain confident. I'll see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." He is not defined by his worst day. And that's what I want somebody to hear right now, whatever they've called you. God isn't defined by your worst day, and neither are you. He calls you something new, a different name than the one the world stuck on you. The only real question left is whether you'll walk like you believe it or keep answering to the old one.
Okay, I want to get practical because somebody's listening to this on the bus right now or walking to class, and they need something they can actually do with it, not just something to think about and forget by lunch.
Yes. 2 questions, and just be honest with yourself. Not to beat yourself up, just to see clearly, because seeing it clearly is half the fight. First, where in your life have you been calling it chill when really, if you're honest, you've just been backing down? Just name it, because fear can't run a room it doesn't own anymore. The second you go, "Oh, that's fear, that's not me being relaxed," it loses most of its grip. Second question, and it's the heavier one. What's the label you've been wearing that God never actually gave you? And here's the good part. You are allowed to put it down. Not someday. Today. Right now. Listening to this. You don't have to keep answering to a name that was never yours.
I love that. You never even signed up for that name. Somebody handed it to you in one bad moment, and you carried it around for years without questioning it. And you can just set it down, like it was never actually attached to you in the first place.
Just open your hands and set it down. It was never yours to carry. And as we wrap up, not backing down doesn't mean you stop being scared. David was scared. You're going to be scared. I still get scared, this week included. It just means fear stops getting the final say. The night can get loud, but your faith can get louder. You can stand in the exact spot that used to make you shrink and just stay. Not because you got tougher than the fear, because you finally realize you were never standing there alone. You've seen who he is. Now you get to remember who you are.
So this week, go put not backing down on loud, let it hit the way it's meant to. Everything's over at holysyncradio.com, and we'll see you right back here next time.
And whatever you're walking into today, that conversation, that class, that thing you've been avoiding for weeks, you're not walking into it alone. Not this time around. You're not backing down. I'll see you next time.
If this encouraged you, share it with someone who needs it. New episodes drop every Saturday. You can find us at holysyncradio.com and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also available on the Apple app for download. And for parent resources, you can download them at tavaleauthor.com. Until next time, keep your heart soft and stay in sync. And remember,
God loves you,